Hi there, Sandy here. Welcome to another jewelry making video at keepsakecrafts.net. Today I'm going to show you how you can take just a couple supplies to make a basic pair of earrings, but add some details to make them special. So I just wanted to make some summery themed earrings with these charms that I have here that I bought at my local Michael's store, but I wanted to make them a little bit different on my own. So the first thing you can do when you're designing a piece of jewelry like this is to start auditioning your beads. So I pulled out several different kinds of beads because you can see they really have a different look if you put the round one over the shell, or over the starfish, over the fish. You know, like over the sand dollar, it's a bit too much of a repetition. I don't think I would use that there. But it might be cute over the stars, or even over the fish. Or these are little squares, but they're drilled on the diagonal, which is a nice look. And that looks good with the sand dollar, but maybe not so great with the starfish. So you just have to kind of try these out. What I ended up choosing for my earrings today are these kind of oval / diamond shapes that I thought looked nice. So I'll show you how to do some cool things with those in a minute. But now let's take a look at our charms. You can see on these two pairs of charms here, I added this blue color. What that stuff is Gilder's paste, and this is a color that I really love. It's called Patina. And it's a wax-based product. If you'd like to learn more about Gilder's paste, I've done a Friday Findings video on it. And I especially love applying Gilder's paste to objects with some texture, as you can just add a light application and it stays on the raised areas but doesn't go down into the texture. And I often use my finger to apply Gilder's pastes. And actually I'm going to use a different color, I thought it would be fun, where these are silver in color, to add a little gold highlight. And you just apply it, and you can keep going back and adding more layers. And you can see it just kind of changes the look. This is called Inca Gold, and it just kind of gives it a weathered, interesting look. Now the important thing about Gilder's paste is that it takes time to dry and harden. Once it's dry, after about 12 hours, you can buff it. So these blue ones I did earlier, and then watch as I buff. You can see how, just like any kind of wax application, I don't know if you can see it, how different it looks from this one now. It's gotten shiny and just looks really nice. But now take a look at this gold. If I try to buff that now, right after applying it, it pretty much just wipes off. Most of it will just wipe right off. So you have to let it dry. And then once it's dried, you can just take a towel and buff it. Now I couldn't decide whether to use the scallop shell or these textured starfish, so I'm going to use one of each in my earrings. That's another way you can make them unique, is to make them asymmetrical. And notice that I left all my charms on this card while working on them. It just made it so much easier to manage. So now I'm just going to take these off, and I'll set these other ones aside to use another day. Next, for your beads, what you need is some wire. I have 22 gauge sterling silver filled wire, and the first thing you need to do with your wire is straighten it. This is a 10-inch piece, so I'm just going to hold it with flat nose pliers, and then take my nylon jaw pliers. And I've done a Friday Findings video on straightening wire if you want to learn more about that. And then somewhere around the middle, go ahead and grasp it with round nose pliers and make a loop. You just want the wires at a 90-degree angle to each other. Then you're going to hold on to that loop and start creating your messy wrap. And I'm going to go down about 1/4 of an inch and then go back up, kind of crisscross the wires. This is done on purpose. I mean, you can do very nice, neat coils, and that is its own look, but messy wraps are fun. And I'm trying to make it a little bit thicker down here, which is the part that will be towards the bead. And then once you get to the end, you can just go ahead and tuck that wire in, and then go ahead and grab that loop and just center it right over those messy wraps. And then slide on your bead. And then down this end, go ahead and grab that with chain nose pliers, bend it about 1/4 of an inch from where the bead comes out. Grab that bend with your round nose pliers and make a loop, and go ahead and finish the loop. And now it's time to add your charms to the loop. And then just like we did on the other side, you're just going to hold that loop with pliers and make your messy wraps. Again, trying to concentrate the wraps towards the bead. It just makes it act sort of like a bead cap. Always be sure to tuck in those ends well or trim them, because you don't want them to catch on somebody's hair or skin. And take a minute to twist your loops so that they face in the correct direction so that your dangle is hanging the way you want it to. And then here I have a couple of ear wires that I made. And if you'd like to learn more about making ear wires, you can check out my Friday Findings video on that. And I'm just going to slide that around. And of course you need to repeat all the steps for your second earring. So if you're interested in the supplies I use, there's a link in the upper right and the description box to go to my blog post. So you can see I'm just repeating the steps here to make the second earring. And it matches, but it's different, which I think is kind of fun. If you like my videos, give a thumbs up, share, and subscribe if you want to see more. I upload new tutorials every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. If you've benefited from these videos, consider becoming a patron. You can support this channel with $1 a month or whatever you can afford. See my Patreon page for details. So here's another look at the project we made. Thanks for watching. Happy creating. Bye-bye.